Welcome to episode 8.22 of the Grumpy Brothers podcast. I am Chris Ludvigsen, joined by Ted. Say hey, Ted.
Hey, Ted.
Thank you to our listeners. Please subscribe and listen on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or Odyssey. Also, please follow us here on millions.co. Ted, did you like the way I did that? Please subscribe. I almost sounded like a 1950s DJ.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's get some payola going or something.
There you go. That we will accept payola.
Yeah.
To
right.
mention
That's
your
right.
teams.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
We have no scruples. We have no morals.
No, none.
We just want to make at least $1 off of this endeavor before we go.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Today we're going to begin with some NFL quarterback signings, and then we're going to continue our NBA and NHL playoffs. Before we get to that, Ted, what's making you grumpy today?
So on my way to trying to get the business manager to get his act together.
Yeah,
today.
Which is a weekly occurrence, it seems like.
Yeah, it's a weekly occurrence. Yeah. So I'm driving down 32, which you probably don't remember.
Yes, I remember 32. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, now it's more of many years ago they made it a highway. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. And it connects to like a major interstate now.
It goes over 95 and 29 and everything.
Oh, but I thought there was another one that they put in there. Like they put another toll road, I thought, off of 32 now.
Oh, it's not on 32. But that's not off of 32.
Anyway, we digress from the DMV traffic situation. Go ahead.
Which is awful on a regular basis. So I'm looking over I'm going south. I'm looking over I look over at the left hand or on the northbound lane, and there's a pickup truck pulled safely off the road.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. I mean, off the road. It's like in a little former driveway or something like it. And there's like two 16, 17, 18-year-olds.
Young guys.
There.
Young punks.
Young guys. Yeah. They had a little too much.
What time of day was this, Ted?
7:45.
In the morning?
In the morning, yeah.
Ooh,
so they're either they're just getting back, or they went out and maybe they went fishing and caught something they weren't supposed to. And I wanted to do a U-turn, but there's no good place, and roll up to them and go, "You boys okay?" yeah. And then they go, "Yeah, we'll be okay." And you got to shake that off. Yeah, nothing like throwing up.
But here's the question: how could you ascertain from across the highway that they had too much?
They were throwing up.
Oh,
they were both out of the car, bent over.
It was a dual situation.
Yeah, each one was holding on to the door, and the other one was holding on to the back, like the back of the truck, and they were bent over, and they had a little too much. That's the way it goes.
Is this at least on like a Saturday morning? So like maybe Friday
today.
Night?
It was today.
Oh, so Saturday night they had a little too much.
Either that, or they, like I said, they went up and got up early, and yeah, they're either just coming in, or I don't know. But they had a little too much of something. I don't know. But so I get down to this place called Maple Lawn. It's a development off of 29. And it's mid, kind of high end, all this other stuff. And you go through it to get to the McDonald's.
Because you're not going to go to a place in the high end section. Go to the McDonald's.
No. Well, actually, a lot of the high end.
That's not stopping off at Starbucks for a coffee and a pastry.
No. Amazingly enough, that's not there. Well, there is a Starbucks on the side.
There's a Starbucks everywhere, Ted.
Yeah, there's a Starbucks everywhere. But anyway, so on the way to Mickey D's, the way I go, you have to wind through some of the residential component of this place, because it's got residential and some office and a lot of retail, restaurant kind of stuff. And there's a series of signs. They're all the same sign, but they're everywhere, about a community meeting for traffic calming.
Traffic calming,
yeah. Which is they I guess somebody decided that people are going through the residential portion too fast, which they do, and they want to put speed bumps or something. Who knows what they want to do. And you want to go to I want to go to the meeting and say, you do know that probably 80 to 90% of the people that are driving recklessly are the people that live here. Most of us. I mean, if I go, I cannot tell you. I go through there. The speed limit's 25. I go somewhere between 25 and 30.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen people pull out of the residential part, pass me on the right, where they're, or I get in the right hand lane, and they come up behind you, and they think they're in NASCAR.
They're drafting you.
You drafted me at 25 in a pickup. And then they take their Tesla, because it's almost always Tesla drivers, and they go around you at the speed of sound, whatever they can do to get. And like it's you guys. If you guys would slow down, everybody would slow down. It's not the people going. I mean, I'm sure there are people that go through that are because it's right next to. Aside from having some residential or office space, it's also right next to or right across the street from Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab.
Oh.
So there are people that go through there that maybe live there, but also people go through there to try and use it to cut around to get to a different road. I mean, they're trying to avoid traffic somehow at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which I don't understand, because it's everywhere. But you slow down. You drive more carefully, and I bet you that 90% of your problems goes away. If the people that live there, I mean, like when I was leaving, they have a bunch of circles in there. When I was leaving today, I'm approaching a circle, and there's a young guy in some kind of sports car, and he's on the other side of the circle, and he goes through that. He didn't even look. He just straight through, and he's going like 40 through the circle. Well, he lives there. It's not my problem. I can. There are other ways I can get to McDonald's that don't involve going through Maple Lawn. And as soon as I see a speed hump, I'm doing those other things. It takes me 5 minutes longer. Big deal. Yeah.
Ted, to completely change the subject, you said one thing there that caught my ear that made me think of something I've been hearing about for a while now. You mentioned the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab.
Yeah.
One of the pods I listen to, there's a very well-known physicist named Eric Weinstein. Brilliant guy, Harvard graduate, brilliant guy. He has talked about at NY Sunnybrook, okay?
Yeah.
They have a physics lab department, something like that, that has like some of the greatest physics minds in the world.
Yeah.
All at this little school.
Yeah.
I think he's suggesting or proposing or insinuating that sort of like all of these guys ended up at Los Alamos for the Manhattan Project, that now Sunnybrook is the home that the government has established for the next, whatever the next great. So if they came out with the atomic bomb in 19 whatever it was, that
hypersonic missiles, or
right, something's going on at Sunnybrook.
The Star Wars thing, that Reagan threw, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, and also
sure, that makes sense. Yeah.
So here's the other thing that Weinstein talked about, Ted. It is almost physical. If we ever want to go interstellar travel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That you cannot create enough propulsion.
Yeah.
To make a spacecraft go fast enough to get into interstellar, because the spaces are so significant.
Right.
The only way that you can do this is to somehow change the time continuum.
Oh, okay.
And that might be what they're working on.
I thought Star Trek call it a day. Get Scotty. We need more crystals.
So anyway, that's the big thought for the day is New York Sunnybrook working on some type of physics to allow us to travel through space in some kind of exaggerated way.
Okay.
Fascinating. All right, Ted, here's my grump.
Yeah.
We're going to soon talk about those New York Knicks. And Ted, I give all kudos to the Knicks. They have been great, winning 11 straight games against good, not great teams. Good, not great teams. Okay. Now, Ted, I've seen and heard a lot of talking heads on radio and TV, including Knicks superfan Stephen A. Smith, my guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And
Did he
I will
call back?
freely admit that Stephen A. knows a lot more about NBA basketball than I do. I'm on the table on that.
Okay.
But I've heard a lot of these people say that if the Knicks win the NBA championship, that Jalen Brunson is the greatest Knick in Knick history.
I heard that. Yeah. Yeah. I heard that. Yeah.
I just have one question. Have any of these guys ever heard of a guy named Walt Clyde Frazier? The leading scorer on two Knicks teams and the winner of two, not one, two NBA titles. Have they ever heard of Knick center legend, the captain Willis Reed, limping out to score the first two baskets in Game 7 against the Los Angeles Lakers, who were led by three Hall of Famers, Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor. Does anybody know Willis Reed?
No. 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 I saw a list of the greatest Knicks and Frazier and Reed that somebody proposed. But go ahead.
Okay, so here's my question. If Brunson wins, if they win, okay, Brunson, I think, definitely goes somewhere in the top 5. The question is, does he go ahead of Ewing? That's my question.
Yeah, that was a funny thing because the list that I saw, I think, showed Patrick Ewing as the greatest Knick. I'm like, what are you talking about? He didn't win anything.
He's a great player.
Have had the maybe had the great stats, but he didn't. So, yeah, I mean, yes. To answer your question, the answer has to be yes, because the object of the thing is to win.
Yes. Thank you.
And it's not always Ewing's fault. It's not Ewing's fault.
Thank you, Jim Moore. Yeah, we play to win the game.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's not Ewing's fault that they didn't put enough good players around him. But, he only got to one final, and that was only because Jordan wasn't playing.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Now, Ted, I just said something, and I have to make certain of something. I just said that Walt Frazier is the leading scorer in franchise history. Now I'm wondering, is it possible that it is? No, I'm sorry. Most points it is. Hold on now. Let's see. Is it Ewing is the career leader in scoring?
Yeah,
I think. Now
it
that
could
I think
be.
about
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's just see it here.
But Frazier might have been their leading scorer in the playoffs.
Okay, yeah. My bad. Patrick Ewing is the leading all-time scorer. Walt Frazier is number 2. Then Willis Reed. Okay, there you go. All right. But even so, he has two titles.
Yeah, and it's not like he was sitting on the bench.
He was a pretty good player.
Yeah, a real good player. Yeah, I mean, and you would have thought they would have heard of him since he's been on their TV and radio broadcast for the last 50 years.
Well, and if you're an NBA expert and supposedly a Knicks superfan, you can't have the take that just because you win one title. Now, I will say this. I can't think of many free agent signings in any sport that I would have put above the Knicks signing of Brunson.
He's certainly as impactful as any, and surprising. Even more surprising in a sense that they saw something or whatever that.
I literally remember doing an NBA preview with us, and when the year before his first year, and we both said, good player, not going to move the needle. We were wrong on that. He has moved the needle, and more importantly, in addition to being a very, very good player, I think Brunson is a tone setter. I think when you play with Brunson, you play tough, you play hard. So
when your best player is getting knocked around and taking it and getting himself up after every time he gets knocked down, then I think it rubs off on everybody.
There you go. All right, here we go, Ted. You ready?
Yep.
All right, now Ted, this works out perfectly. As we talked about, the Knicks have won 11 in a row to reach the NBA Finals for the first time since the 1998-99 season, when they lost 4 games to 1 to the San Antonio Spurs.
Okay,
Ted. Who was the head coach of that team? And I want to see how many of the top 4 scorers you can name.
Of the Knicks?
Of the Knicks.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't. Van Gundy.
You said it like you weren't certain, but there you go, Ted. Jeff Van Gundy.
Yeah.
Now, Ewing was the leading scorer. I want to see if you can name any of the other top three scorers. All well known, none of them Hall of Famers, but all good players in that little window. And one of them was infamous.
Mark Jackson, your buddy.
Nope.
Put your foot down now.
Nope.
In 1999.
98, 99.
Ron Artest, since you said infamous.
No, Ted, here you go. You ready?
Wait a minute. How about Charles Oakley?
No.
No?
All right, here they are, Ted.
Yeah.
So Ewing averaged 17.3.
Yeah.
Latrell Sprewell.
Okay. Yeah.
16.4. Allen Houston.
Oh, okay.
16.3. And then Larry Grandmama Johnson.
Oh, Larry Johnson. Yeah. I forgot he played for them at the end of his career. Yeah. Okay.
Here's some fascinating details about that season and that team, Ted. That was one of the actually, it was a lockout that year.
Oh, okay.
So they only played 50 games. The Knicks finished 27-23 on the season.
Yeah.
They weren't exactly running through the regular season, Ted.
No, they weren't.
Now, here's the thing I love about this. To tell you how the game has changed in a little over 25 years. They were not a good offensive team, Ted. 27th out of 29 teams.
Yeah.
Averaging 86.4 points per game.
That was kind of when the NBA was going through its Worldwide Wrestling Federation phase.
Now, they were a very good defensive team, fourth in team defense, allowing 85.4 points per game.
No, they weren't. They weren't a good defensive team. They were allowed to wrestle. When you can hold the other guy. I mean, the NBA is full of bad rules or bad, what do you want to say? Bad
implementation of rules.
Yeah, and implementation. But yeah, that was really awful. That was that whole period where I think the league really took a.
It's sort of like what you talk about when it comes to things in the federal government. We don't need new laws. There are laws on the books for certain things. We just need those laws enforced, and we'll be fine. The same thing. If you just enforce the rules that are on the books, you'd have a perfectly good game.
Yeah, I mean it was Jordan had retired. There was no superstar kind of thing, and the league let it become wrestling, and then they needed, and then I don't know who was the, I guess the Kobe Shaq Lakers sort of opened the game back. I don't remember. It was I'm just trying to LeBron came along.
LeBron came along in 2003, and then they eventually changed the rules. No more hand checking defensively, and no more sort of interference as you ran through the lane. I say all the time, I love Steph Curry. He's a great shooter, but he could not have played in that era because every time he would try to cut through the lane to get to the other side to get an open three, Rick Mahorn would have put a shoulder into his chest, and they'd be scraping Steph off the second row of the court side seats.
I mean, there were times when they were just literally like holding guys, I mean, I can remember doing a girls reffing a girls varsity game. There's one girl she was the best player in the county, and she's coming, and she was a big kid, tall, athletic. I think they said she went on and played either lacrosse or field hockey in college, but anyway, so she's coming down the lane, and there's this poor kid who's trying to stop her, who's like 70 pounds lighter, and she's got her shirt in her hand, and it's being pulled, and it's like she's paragliding on the back, on the back. She's trying to hold on, and she's being dragged, and creating scuff marks on the floor, And I call the foul, and the coach is like, "You're protecting the other player." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Your kid has a shirt in her hand."
If it had been an Oklahoma running back in the 1980s,
it would have come off. Yeah,
it would have come off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she's she's put dents in the floor from where her heels are beat. What are you talking about? Come on, man. I'm protecting the other player. Yeah, okay, good.
All right, Ted, let's go to the NFL, and let's begin with the Pittsburgh Steelers signing my guy, Aaron Rodgers, to a 1-year, $22.5 million guaranteed contract up to $25 million with incentives to reunite with his best friend, Mike McCarthy.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what else were the Steelers going to do? I mean, they have a quarterback. And McCarthy's an offensive guy, and at least Rodgers knows the basic playbook. I mean, just
Okay,
that
so
McCarthy's going to bring in.
okay, now Ted, from what I understand, I have not seen this in writing, but I've heard this stated that shortly after signing this, Rodgers said definitively this is it
Yeah,
last
right.
year.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, right.
which I give him credit for
Yeah,
putting the
yeah,
cards on the table. And I give him credit for the last 2 years playing 2 seasons for basically less than $40 million combined.
right.
So I give him credit for a lot of things in that regard. But here's my question. Okay. So it sounds to me like you're saying that if you're a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, you're happy with this decision and this
I'm
signing.
not happy. I'm not sure I'm happy, but it has to be. It had to be they didn't have any. They didn't do anything else. I mean, they signed McCarthy with no quarterback and Rodgers sitting out there, who knows the plays, knows what McCarthy wants. You don't draft a quarterback. You don't. You haven't developed any since Roethlisberger left. Which, by the way, I saw a couple of different articles. I don't know if they were the same one, just reprinted or not, but where it said after Roethlisberger left, that the Steelers pretty much didn't do anything on offense in terms of practice, development, trying to do teach quarterbacks, develop quarterbacks. That McCarthy came in and like in their OTAs or whatever it is, put in a bunch of drills that are somewhat basic in the NFL for developing quarterbacks, and the Steelers hadn't seen them since Roethlisberger was gone. So, I
Okay.
mean,
All right. So Mike Tomlin is a. Do we
he's
want to say
going to
Mike
the Hall
Tomlin
of
was a
Fame.
great coach? Do we want to say great?
He's real good. He's going to the Hall of Fame.
He won a Super
He's
Bowl.
going.
Okay.
Hey, look, he won a Super Bowl. I think he went to another one, and he
Yeah.
never had a losing season, right?
Yeah. Okay. The Steelers made the right decision by hiring an offensively minded coach.
Yeah,
We're in agreement with that.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not certain that if I were the Steelers, let me back up a second. So they have Rodgers now. They've signed Rico Dowdle to be one of their offensive running backs. They've brought in Michael Pittman to team him with DK Metcalf. They drafted Jeremy Bernard, a wide receiver from Alabama, who in the second round.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people say that he's a good player and will fit in perfectly as a slot receiver. Okay. They pick up Jamil Dean, a nice cornerback from Tampa. They pick up safety Jaquan Brisker, another good player. They still have TJ Watt. They still have Hayward. They still have Jalen Ramsey. They still have some good linebackers. They have Highsmith, who's a good player. So they have a lot of good players on both sides of the ball. Let me ask you this question this simply, Ted. With Aaron Rodgers, do you consider the Steelers a Super Bowl contender?
No.
Okay. So let's start there. Then why do you do it?
Because they have to win.
Why?
Well, okay. So you brought in McCarthy. They made the playoffs last year. They managed to somehow win the division, and then you fire the coach, right? Because they get stomped in the playoffs. You fire the coach, but you did win the division. So, the expectation is to win.
Okay, but
I mean, if they were gonna say, yeah, we got to tear it down and start all over to rebuild an offense, they would have gone with an assistant that nobody's ever heard of, and they would have traded up and drafted a quarterback or gone out and signed,
Okay, see, but here's okay. If you're the Pittsburgh Steelers organization with how many Super Bowl rings? 6?
5, 6.
So
yeah.
they had 4 with
Chuck
Noll, with Chuck Noll, and then Cowher won 1 and Tomlin 1. So they've got 6.
6,
okay.
Yeah.
So the Steelers are one of those sort of premier NFL franchises whose expectations is we're trying to win Super Bowls.
Right.
Okay. So if what you've just done you don't think makes them a Super Bowl contender,
no,
then why wouldn't you have just hired that young assistant and said to him, you have 5 years, and you tear it down to the studs, you trade TJ Watt, you trade Jalen Ramsey, you tear it down to the studs offensively. Last year, they drafted Will Howard from Ohio State, who I didn't think was great, but was very, very good in their championship run.
Yeah. Yeah.
This year they drafted Drew Aller, a kid from Penn State who is big and strong, has a big arm, nice athlete, has all of the measurables, but doesn't ever seem to put it onto the field. He never was a great quarterback at Penn State, so I don't know he's
Yeah.
going to be a great. But my point is, I understand they didn't have a legitimate NFL quarterback on the roster, but if you don't think you're a Super Bowl team, I would have said, let's go find who we think might be the next Sean McVay. Put the ball in Will Howard's hands for a season. See what we have. If we end up 2-15, okay, we go draft one of the 7 great quarterbacks that are supposed to be coming out next year in the draft, and then we build going forward.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
It's just not what they did. I mean, they
but are they relegating themselves? Are they relegating themselves to 9 and 8 and 10 and 7 for the next 5 years without any reasonable chance to make the Super Bowl?
No, because what happened? What if they have injury issues and they go 7 and 10 and miss the playoffs? Rodgers is gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you do have to essentially tear it down. Maybe then you do draft the quarterback, in the first round next year, and you have McCarthy, who's an offensive guy, to try and develop him through what did he sign, like a 3 or 4 year deal, something like that?
I don't know. I can't remember what he signed.
It was not long term.
No, so that's my point. That's my point is if you waste a season with McCarthy now, I think McCarthy is a solid NFL coach, and I think he will make them a solid team. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team. So that's why, again, I think the worst place you can be is 500 in the NFL because you're not ever going to get the next unless one just falls in your lap. Now, I will say this: a couple of years ago, the Broncos waited around until the pick 13, whatever, and they got Bo Nix. Now they paired him with a very good offensive coach. I think the Steelers have gotten to this point where they're afraid to have a down year.
Yeah,
at the top of the organization. Well, and I think at some point you just have to say to your fans, "Okay, time to start over."
Yeah, but that's the point is that the people that are fans now in Pittsburgh don't remember 1 and 12 or 1 and 13 or whatever, 2 and 12. The first couple of years when they were about ready to run Noel out of town.
Yeah.
They don't remember that. They don't remember drafting Terry Bradshaw with the first pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So they don't remember that. So they only remember being winners.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard. It's kind of like they're almost kind of like Yankee fans now. It's some days sometimes you want to say we got to get bad to get good.
I think if I was Dan Rooney or whoever, I can't remember which Rooney is now running the organization, I would have said, let Rodgers walk. Thank him for his service. Say nothing but great things about him. Trade TJ Watt to a contender for a 2027 first round pick. I wouldn't have taken a first round pick in the 26 draft. I would have taken a 27 pick next year or in the 27 draft. And it's all about, and we give the ball to Will Howard. Who knows? Maybe he turns out to be.
Right. Maybe. You won't know unless you play him.
Right. And who knows? Maybe Drew Aller. But anyway, my point is you give the ball to those two guys. And if you go 2-15, sorry, fans, we had to do it. Now we're going to go draft Arch, or we're going to draft one of these other kids that everybody says is going to be a big-time NFL prospect coming out next year.
The only thing that I think in the short term, if it goes south fast, they have because they're going to have the first place schedule, right?
Yep.
Even though they really weren't a very good team, we have first place schedule. So what's the trade deadline after week
9 or week 10? So I think you're thinking the same thing I am. Let's say they're 2-6.
Right.
And Brock Purdy's
TJ Watt's available. Yeah. But
no, Brock Purdy's hurt and you trade Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, if he wants to go, I'm sure he's got to have a say in that.
Or at that point you trade TJ Watt, or you trade both of them.
You trade everybody. Everybody that you can get, and then you load up on the next couple of drafts. And I think McCarthy knows that that's a possibility too. I mean, I'm sure he went in with his eyes wide open, into this. But yeah, I mean, so if everything works out right, they make the playoffs, and maybe they win a game, or maybe they get to the AFC title game. But I don't see them being. But to be fair to them, the AFC with Kansas City not having Mahomes, the AFC is more winnable.
Yes.
So. Yeah. I don't
And
think
I
they're a
don't think the
contender.
I don't think the Patriots are going to be
No.
14 and 3 or whatever they were last year. So yeah,
Yeah.
it is there
No,
for
they
the
got a lot
taking.
of issues there. Yeah.
It
But
is
I
there
mean,
for
if you get to the AFC playoffs,
you could make a run. You
you
could
could
make
make
a
a
run.
run. It would, particularly with a veteran team like that.
Yeah.
And if Rodgers is reasonably healthy, yeah, you
Right.
could. I just don't think they're going to get to the playoffs.
Interesting. All right,
Or,
let's go out to the other signing. The Rams signed Matthew Stafford to a 1-year extension, which now
yeah,
puts him under contract to the Rams for the next 2 seasons.
yeah,
I
good
think
for
this
him.
one definitely makes sense. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, we're trying. We've got if you're the Rams, you've got what fairly low cost, pretty effective defense. You have a lot of other guys to help Stafford that are again low cost. You can't pay them all down the road, and the guys are going to leave. So the next 2 years are probably your best chance to win a Super Bowl because Stafford is what 37.
37, 38, something like
Yeah.
that.
So, 2 years, yeah, we're gonna take our shot the next 2 years to go to another Super Bowl. And theoretically, he rides off into retirement, and if the kid they drafted from Alabama looks halfway decent, they plug him in and try and go from there. Yeah.
Now, okay, if they win a Super Bowl title in the next 2 seasons, all's good.
Yeah.
All of the decisions they've made are going to work. If they don't win a Super Bowl in the next 2 seasons, then I think people are going to look at the Ty Simpson selection because the one hole I think they have on their team, I don't think he was a great tackle, but the right tackle, Rob Havenstein, retired after last year.
Yeah.
So now they're going with someone named Warren McClendon at right tackle. Ted, after they picked Ty Simpson, there were
Yeah.
4 offensive tackles picked in the first round.
All of whom, yeah, they could have. Yeah.
Exactly.
Any of whom.
And then even if you thought none of those guys were potential starters in the next year, let's just say they looked at all those 4 guys and we don't like any of them.
Yeah.
Again, there was the offensive lineman that I heard a lot of people say was the best offensive lineman at any position. Iovane from Penn State was picked the next pick after that by the Ravens.
Right. Right.
If you're trying to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, I would have taken one of the tackles or I would have taken the guard and I would have said, and protected Stafford because, like I say, at the beginning of last season, we weren't certain that Stafford was going to stay upright all of last season because of his back.
Right.
So, all right, now Ted, let me.
That's if they go, I'm win the Super Bowl, great, but if they go, then they're okay. I think that they've made the right choice. They got to go. They got to go because you get out of the NFC. Chances are, if they get out of the NFC, they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
chances are. But I mean, I think going is enough.
All right, now Ted, let's wrap up this conversation, combining the 2 signings together into this discussion. Right now, both quarterbacks have 1 Super Bowl, Rodgers and Stafford.
Yeah.
Okay? Let me throw some numbers at you. Okay. Here's Rodgers, 18 seasons as a starter. Ted, 66,274 passing yards, 65.1% completion percentage, 527 to 123 TD to interception ratio, 102.2 rating, 251 yards per game, 63% winning percentage, 4 Super Bowls. I mean, four MVPs and the Super Bowl win, Ted, but only 11-11 in the career playoff records for Rodgers. He's had some seasons where they didn't make. Now, here's Stafford's numbers. 17 seasons as a starter, 64,516 yards, 63.5%, 423 to 196 interception rating, only 92.4 rating, almost 270 yards per game. And his career winning percentage is right at 500, but a lot of that is with those tough seasons in Detroit. He has a 62% winning percentage in his 4 seasons with the Rams. He has 1 Super Bowl win, 1 MVP, and a 7-6 record in the playoffs.
Yeah.
There was a time when early in his career when Rodgers had the most incredible elite throwing ability. He had great mobility that he could make plays with his feet. There were a lot of people who would have said before Brady ran off those last couple of Super Bowl wins that people would have said Rodgers is the better quarterback than Brady because of his athleticism, better athleticism and so forth. Let's assume the Rams win a Super Bowl.
Right.
Who's had the better career?
Well, we're, you know, they're both going to the Hall of Fame. So, if the Rams Rodgers has been to 2 Super Bowls,
Been to one.
one he never lost in the Super Bowl as a
Nope.
starter?
Nope.
So, okay, here's another. What if the Rams go and lose? So if you're one and you go to 2, is that better than going to 1 and winning? And,
I think so. Well, let me put it this way.
I
If the
think in a lot
Rams,
of ways, yeah, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, 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 go ahead.
If the Rams win another Super Bowl and Stafford has 2,
Yeah.
I don't care about the MVPs.
Yeah, right.
Stafford's
Yeah.
had the better career.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I think I might argue for Stafford right now, even without the MVPs, because he played on some god awful teams in Detroit, and Rodgers, other than his one season that he actually played with the Jets, he never played on really really bad teams. I mean, Green Bay was
There were
never
a couple of
really.
bad teams there in the middle before they brought in LaFleur and after McCarthy, where they there were a
But
few little down years in there.
they weren't really as bad as Detroit was, were they? I
No.
mean, Detroit was. I mean, did Stafford ever make the playoffs in Detroit?
Yeah, 3 times.
3 times?
3
Wow,
times.
okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there were some teams that were really, especially
Yes.
early in his career, where he was just getting crushed,
Yeah.
and, they were. So I think that Rodgers had a slightly, uh, I'm gonna say easier go, but he had slightly better teams on average.
I just think people, I think people I think because there were so many years there where Rodgers was so electric and
Yeah, right.
the way he could
That's
throw the
yeah,
ball with his feet in the air and he could run and make throws. And I remember the one where he scrambled and there were a couple of those long Hail Mary passes for game
yeah,
winning.
right.
He was a truly electric player.
He's a highlight film guy.
Yes. Yes.
ESPN had him on the highlight films, and
Yes.
Green Bay made primetime games, even if they had the same record as the Lions, because Stafford just wasn't as, fun to watch,
Yeah. And I'm looking at it now, Ted. He won, or he went to the playoffs in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 or 12 seasons with the Packers. He was in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
yeah,
But Ted, like I say, yeah, 12 seasons, because 12 seasons in the playoffs and an 11-11 record.
yeah, right,
So,
yeah.
like I say, there were a lot of years there where they were the best team and they got bounced out early in the playoffs.
Yeah, like that year, those back-to-back years, when they lost to Tampa at home, when they really should have. You would have thought they were the easier, better team,
Yeah.
easy favorite. And who did they? Well, was it San Francisco they lost to when it was so cold that one night?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
At home.
yeah. I mean, home game that night in the cold, and they lost. Yeah, yeah. I think Stafford had a little less to work with more
Yeah.
consistently, and maybe that's the way I'm looking.
He had Megatron Calvin Johnson, one of the
Yeah,
greatest NFL
yeah,
wide
right.
receivers in the history of the game. But as a whole, the team was and many of those years they were matched up against each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think that I would say Stafford has had a slightly better career in the sense that, he played with less more often and was still pretty effective.
And
But it's not to take anything away from Rodgers. I mean, he was great,
I think
highlight film-wise.
we're going to look back on it and say to ourselves, in some respects, Rodgers underachieved in the playoffs because that team
Yeah.
have should have at least gone to one more Super Bowl, at least one.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, let's go to the NBA and NHL. So let's begin with those Knicks, Ted. They complete their sweep of the Cavs in
Yeah?
large part due to their continuing offensive hot streak. After the tough game one, the remaining 3 games, the Knicks shot 52% from the field, 40% from 3, and from the fourth quarter of game one on,
Right.
okay, they outscored the Cavaliers 406 to 318, or a plus 88 over 13 quarters and an overtime. So basically, on average, they were outscoring the Cavaliers by almost 7 points per quarter. Just a
Yeah.
better team.
Yeah, or at least playing better. They're certainly hot. They were hot. Um, we'll see how it goes when they come back on, was it Wednesday that they play now?
Yeah.
How long have they been sitting around?
It's going to be a long time. It's going to be well over a week and probably
Like
closer to 10, 11, 12
10
days.
yeah, yeah. So we'll see if they can continue that. But they played great. There's no two ways about it. Cleveland, yeah, I will give Cleveland credit for saying some really things that you go, "What?"
Oh, you mean like the coach saying that analytically they were the better team?
Analytically, they're a better team. Harden's great in isolation, like
Defense?
defense, and Harden, I think he said, "Oh, we're clearly better." You're like, "Clearly, no, you're clearly getting your teeth kicked in."
Um,
They're running you out of the gym, James.
There was, I remember one offensive possession. The Knicks had the ball, and I thought to myself, I'm going to see how good of a defender Harden is. And I don't even know where, like 10, 15 seconds into the possession, I don't even know where his man was. Like he might have been like over in a corner or something. And
Yeah,
James was just sort of standing in the middle of the lane guarding no one. He was guarding
yeah,
space, and he
yeah,
was just
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
standing there.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
thought
He
to
got
myself,
lost. Yeah,
it's like I keep saying, I don't care if you don't have athleticism. There's this great clip that I've seen on Instagram. The coach you remember the former college coach Frank Martin,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
coached at Cincinnati and South
yeah. Right.
Carolina, and his
Yeah.
teams played hard.
Yeah, his teams did play hard. Yeah, I think he's still coaching somewhere. I think they were made the tournament this year at a small school, and they play hard.
And a young guy, almost like a high school age kid, or so maybe even younger, in
Yeah,
some kind of press conference, gets to ask a question. And the kid asks one of the great questions I've ever heard anybody.
yeah,
And even Frank Martin, to his credit, was very complimentary. The kid says, "Coach, what is more important to your team's success defensively, attitude or technique?"
yeah,
And Martin thought about it for a second. He said, "Great question." He's 100% attitude.
yeah,
He said, "If you have the attitude that you want to play hard, we can teach you how we
yeah.
want you to
Right,
play defense.
right, right.
But if you don't want to play defense,"
Yeah,
which is the
yeah,
James Harden situation.
yeah,
So
yeah,
um, let's leave some time here to discuss the finals, Ted, because we're going to do that and we're going to do some picks
yeah,
here shortly. In the West, Ted, I picked the Spurs in 6,
yeah.
and I'm more impressed with San Antonio after winning Game 7 than if they had won in 6 games.
Yeah, I mean, I did not think they could go to Oklahoma in the 7th game, and win. But they shot great. They shot the ball
Yes.
great. Um, it's a little tough to watch sometimes because it was a, 3-point shooting contest
Oh,
to
the
some
nature of
degree.
NBA these days. But
Yeah. Um,
and Ted,
eh,
for the life of me, I don't understand why they don't put Wemby in the post more, or at least at the free throw line. He gets the ball in the post, the whole defense has to collapse on him.
yeah, because it's
And
like,
every time, like yesterday, a lot of the games, or a lot of the game last night, they had Jalen Williams on him, who's
yeah,
probably about 6'7".
yeah.
All you have to do is throw the ball in the post and turn around and shoot it. What is Williams going to
Shoot.
do?
What are you talking about shoot? He can take a full step. They're gonna give him the full step. He can just take the step and dunk it,
But I mean,
because
if he could get post position, just turn around and hit a little
yeah,
8-foot turnaround jumper,
yeah, no,
I don't get it. To me, it's a win every time he takes a 3-point shot. I don't care how many he makes.
yeah, right, yeah. As far away, like I looked, he 22. That's okay because the way
Yeah,
they play, they were going up and down the floor, and guys were, and they were when he did go into the post, they descended upon him.
yeah,
But he only had 7 rebounds.
yeah,
So if he wants to shoot threes and take 7 rebounds, I'll take that.
yeah.
I'll
Now,
take that all night.
so Ted, here's why the Spurs won that game last night. I said after they lost Game 2 when he got the concussion against the Trailblazers in the first
Yeah.
round, how impressed I was with their perimeter players. So Ted, last night, the combination of De'Aaron Fox, my guy,
Yeah.
Vassell, Castle, Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper is going to be a star in this league, Ted. He's a really good player.
Yeah, he is.
So Fox, Vassell, Castle, Harper, Johnson, the 6th man of the year, and Champagny. Those 6 guys combined for 90 points, Ted. All of them were in double figures.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a very good team effort. That guy, they get up, and when they get the rebounds, they can get up and down the floor because all of those guys can handle the ball. They're interchangeable on defense. Uh, and Champagny can really, when he gets hot, he can fire it in there with the best of them.
And what I liked about Champagny and Johnson yesterday was in Game 7 on the road.
Yeah.
They both not only stepped up to take threes, but made threes. That's a spot
right.
where a lot of those secondary players kind of like, as soon as the ball gets in their hands, it's hot potato. Let me get rid of it and throw it to one of the stars. But both of those guys, when they got open and they stepped up and they not only took their shots and they made them. And Ted, I said it earlier in maybe last week. I don't want to hear anybody complain about SGA anymore, about how he flops and all that stuff. With the second best player, the first Jalen, I call him the first Jalen Williams. They call one J Dub and one J Will,
whatever. Yeah.
Right. But the guy who's supposed to be the second best player on the team, out for most of the entire series, and including last night. SGA scores 35 and 43 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my guy Chet Holmgren, who they paid 50 large to again, he goes in complete disappearance mode. He takes like 2 shots.
I told you last year,
shots, something like that.
They should have got rid of him. They should have never given him that extension. I don't get it. I mean, I understand he's got skill and all that, but he's a human toothpick. I mean, you know.
And what I did not like about him, I mean, at times, there were times on the floor where Holmgren was on the floor, Wemby was on the floor, and the Thunder were guarding Wembanyama with Williams, not with Holmgren. Holmgren's 7 foot.
He can't cover. He can't cover him. No, he's all he is an off-ball shot blocker. That's he can't cover anybody. He can't cover you.
Well, hold on. All right, now Ted, let's go to the finals.
You know, anybody who was look, I'm sure he's a nice guy, and but when he says that he was going to wipe the floor one-on-one with Shaq,
did he say that?
Yeah, that he would wipe the floor with Shaq one-on-one against Shaq. He would. No, Shaq would. Yeah, Shaq. No, yeah, if you're shooting threes, you're going to play one-on-one. Shaq would bury him in about 2 seconds. You know,
just back him down, turn and hit a little baby hook, and let's go. Keep going.
He'd dunk it, and pull the rim down on his head. I mean, but anyway, that's not the. Here, Oklahoma City lost that game because they could not get stops. Period. Every time San Antonio got out to the lead, and Oklahoma City caught them. They took a lead a couple times, but they couldn't. They couldn't put the clamps down on it. And at the end, what was it? Somewhere late in the second half, fourth quarter, didn't San Antonio go like on 16-17 nothing run to
something like that? Yep.
Go. And Oklahoma City, they couldn't stop them. They couldn't. There was just too many of them, and too many guys that all can do. And they were shooting the lights out. That's the other thing.
And so basically, Ted, I have it written down here. I think I had it said that basically, while SGA was great, the Spurs just had more good players.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. Now, if Williams hadn't have been hurt,
and Holmgren hadn't gone into disappearing mode, then
but I mean, if Williams, to me, because they are built on 3, right? They are built on having all 3.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, if he can play and he can play reasonably well, that's a whole different, because he's 15, 18 points a night.
Oh yeah, he's going to give you at least 18 to 20 a night. Yeah, he's a good player.
So, and then maybe he can stop one of the guys that had, or slow him down anyway. Yeah. So I think that's they couldn't get a stop, and they couldn't find a consistent secondary scorer.
I love Alex Caruso. He could play on my team anytime, but if you're basically relying on him to be your second best offensive weapon, it's just not going to happen. Not when the other team has Wemby and Castle and Fox and all.
I mean, Harper. I don't know what Caruso got last night. And I thought he played extremely well in the series offensively.
He didn't. He wasn't efficient. He got like 14 points or something like that, but he had a bad shooting night. I think he hurt his wrist halfway through the game there. So
but I mean, he gives you a lot of effort. It's just that he can't be number 2.
No,
not
on
against
a good team, on a championship team.
No, not against and not against a team like San Antonio, particularly when they're shooting the lights out like that.
All right, now Ted, let's go to the finals and let's just preview the final really quickly here. I like the Spurs in the final against the Knicks because you talked about their perimeter defense and how they're all interchangeable. They're all going to get time on Brunson. I think they're going to
Yeah.
wear Brunson out.
Yeah. I mean, that I think there's a possibility of that. Now, the Knicks do have some big guys, that aren't going to disappear. I think they could probably give Wembanyama a little bit of, how are they going to let them play? Because I think the Knicks have more guys that can bang into him, take a few fouls, try and get him upset or whatever, get him off, knock him off his game. But I think San Antonio is physically way more talented. I mean,
Yes.
I just don't. I just think it's going to come down to how much do they let the Knicks, how physical do they let the Knicks play?
So I'm really intrigued by, throughout the playoffs, the Knicks have been playing a fairly small lineup with Karl Anthony Towns at the 5, and then Mikal Bridges, and whether you consider Anunoby a guard or forward, or whether you consider Josh Hart. But my question is, if they play that starting 5, you have to put Cat on Wemby.
Yeah.
And Cat has a history of foul trouble.
It's not going to work.
So that's one question. And then if you put Mitchell Robinson in the game to defend Wemby, he's such an offensive liability and then Wembanyama, when he guards Robinson, he can just drop down into the lane and no one's going to score in the paint if you have Robinson on the floor. Here's conversely the other thing. If Cat can hold his own defensively against Wemby and play that point center position and pull Wemby away from the basket, that does give the Knicks that back cut driving ability with him away from the lane. I think that's the key thing is, does Wemby get Cat in foul trouble or force them to play Mitchell Robinson? Or does Cat pull him away from the basket and open up lanes for Anunoby and Brunson to do their thing in the lane and so forth? But I still like the Spurs in this series.
Yeah, you mentioned it. If San Antonio not allows, but they plan for Wembanyama to be a 3-point shooter, that helps the Knicks immensely.
Oh, 100%.
But if at least part of the time, if Towns is on him, particularly when Towns is on him, you got to put him in the lane. You got to send him down low.
At least give him the ball at the free throw line and let him shoot a free throw line jumper, go to the basket, do something. Get him away from starting their. I don't want to see Wemby starting his offense 28 feet from the basket.
No, you don't want him to. The Sixers, I'm not going to blame it on him because he played halfway well, but every time, we've been saying this for a while, every time Joel Embiid decides he wants to be a point guard, he's helping the other team. I don't care how many threes he makes. It's fine. Go ahead, shoot them all. Shoot nothing but threes. It's fine. Wembanyama has to go to the basket. He has to set up near the basket. You have to throw him the ball in the low post, and you have to let him turn and try and just, because his arms are so long. He's halfway to the, if he's halfway up the lane, he can still reach out and dunk it. Yeah. He's going to get fouls. I mean,
and that's the other thing. He shoots free throws so well that if you put him in and around the basket, he's going to get a lot of fouls. He's going to spend the game at the free throw line.
I mean, even if he doesn't foul Towns out, he's probably going to sit him down. And then other guys are going to get fouls.
The only path I see for the Knicks is to play Cat at the point center, pull Wembanyama away from the basket. Now, if they do that, then the interesting thing will be to see if the Spurs put Champagnie on Cat to play him at the top of the key, let Wemby play Hart and slough off a Hart and hope that Hart doesn't have one of those games where he hits all of the threes. I'd be really curious to see how they
might play that zone. They might play the zone.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
All right, I think this, at the end of the day, I think the Spurs have more options on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. I mean, the Knicks need Brunson to be great. The Knicks need I like someone Anunoby or Mikal Bridges to be great. They need to hit their threes. And Ted, that's the thing. When I was watching the Thunder last night, Kason Wallace was great from three last night, and they shot it as a team okay. You have to rely so much on outside jump shots against the Spurs because Wemby's such a good shot blocker. And because he's such a good shot blocker and because they have such good defensive perimeter players, all those guys play tough defensively. You don't get a lot of open shots.
Yeah.
But you have to hit the shots you get against them. That's the only chance you have.
The thing about it is they can play hard up tight. They can get really tight. And if they get beat, they have a shot blocker back there. Yeah.
All right, let's finish with hockey, Ted. And after a rough first period, the Hurricanes returned to their suffocating game. By game 5, I think they had just completely worn down the Canadiens. The Canadiens were shot. They were done by game 5.
I think they were done after the fourth game.
Yeah.
Look, the first game was clearly it seemed that rust had settled in because they 11 days off.
Yeah. And I think the speed of the Canadiens was hard to catch up to initially.
Yeah. And the fact that they kind of they gutted out 2 wins in a row.
Yeah. It kind of broke their spirit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because I don't think, and the other
particularly game 3 in Montreal.
Yeah.
The place was flying. They had I think they came back late to tie the game in game 3. The Canadiens did.
Think so, yeah.
If they had pushed one across in overtime, probably a whole different series.
Yeah, and you can't play. You're not going to beat a good team like Carolina. I don't care how good the goalie's playing, because he was great. He was great. I don't care how many goals he gave up. He was great, because a lot of those he had no chance on some of those in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
But you're not going to win those games giving up 35, 40 shots and only getting 10 or 12, because Montreal just could not generate any offense at the end. And when you're getting outshot like that, I don't care how good the goalie is, it's just not going to work,
Yeah.
And Carolina was better.
Yeah. All right, let's go out to the West and the improbable sweep by the Golden Knights over the Avalanche.
Yeah.
Carter Hart, he slumped terribly in the last 2 games, Ted. He allowed 4 goals in the last 2 games for a 93% saving percentage. For the series, Carter Hart, 117 saves on 124 shots, over 94%. In the first 2 rounds, the Avalanche were 8-1, scoring 36 goals, 4 goals per game.
Yeah. I'm not sure what is more surprising. Carolina playing 13 games to get to the finals, or Las Vegas sweeping Colorado. Now, Carolina's road was not exactly littered with,
the 76 Canadiens. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Or the 1979 Islanders.
Or whatever. Yeah. But and then Las Vegas, I got a little lucky in the sense that Makar was out, and it was very clear Colorado was different when he played, even though he was somewhat diminished because he was hurt. There's no 2 ways about it. So they had better chances to win those games when he played. There's no 2 ways about it, right? I mean, there was,
You said it before the series. Their transition game is a huge part of the Avalanche offense.
Yeah, and they were just better in the 2 games that they lost, the third and fourth games. But Carter Hart was great. It was just, and the other thing, Vegas has guys. What did they say? I think they have 6 or 7 guys still from the original team, which means that this is their 3rd trip to the finals, and they picked up a couple other guys who have experience. They know how to play this time of year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a very compelling finals. I think Carolina would be favored, but I don't think it's shocking if Las Vegas wins.
I like the Eichel-Marner combination the Eichel-Marner combination is better as a single offensive unit than anything the Hurricanes can throw up there. Mark Stone is back from his injury, and he's a
Yeah.
great power play in the slot kind of tough
Right.
guy. To your point, they have some really good defensemen that play tough around the net. The
They know how to
Hurricanes,
play. They know how to play in the playoffs.
yeah, the second line of the Hurricanes, Stankoven,
Yeah.
Taylor Hall, and the young guy Blake have been great. I like Aho. I like Jarvis. I like the scoring depth of Carolina. Freddie Anderson. If Freddie Anderson continues to play this well, and Ted, even I noticed this, and I heard Wayne Gretzky say this afterwards, and I noticed it myself. The Hurricanes have a defenseman, Keandre Miller, used to play for the
Right.
Rangers.
Rangers. Yep.
I was watching him and going, wow, he's really playing well. And I heard
Yeah.
Gretzky say that might be one of the best defenseman performances he's seen in the playoffs in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Jacob Slavin is equally really solid on. So there's nothing to not like. And then, like I said, I love how the Hurricanes team has adopted and mirrors the Rod Brindamore mentality. We're just going to play hard.
Yeah. Right.
Every second of every shift of every game, we're coming
grind. They grind. Yeah.
And oh man, Brindamore looks like if you put number 17 on him or whatever, where he looked like he could still go out there and give you a couple good shifts.
Yeah. They also mentioned that Carolina's fourth line has been productive offensively, which is, it's always a bonus when the fourth line, which is generally considered a defensive alignment
And
for most teams. And they give you something that's pretty good. That helps.
That's an interesting point, Ted, because the captain of the team is Jordan Stahl,
right?
Who I think is centering the fourth. How many centers? He's either the third or fourth line. How many captains will take a spot of the coach saying, we want you to play on the checking line or the fourth line?
Yeah.
But he's a great face-off guy. He's great on penalty kills. He's a great leader.
He's great in front of the net. He is immovable in front of the net. Yeah. So.
Just a lot to like about this team. All right, Ted, here we go. Here we go, Ted. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. NBA playoffs. Who do you have and how many games?
Well, who has home court? The Knicks or the Spurs?
Spurs.
Do you know?
Spurs have home court.
Spurs are going to win, I think, in 6.
Yep. That's exactly what I've got. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think they're afraid to go into the Garden and win the 6th game.
No. If they can go into OKC in that environment and beat that team, they can go into the Garden. Okay, Ted, hockey.
Boy, I've been thinking about. I think this is 7 games, and I think Carolina is going to eke it out if Anderson. But Anderson has to play, better than he ever has in the playoffs. I think this is going to be multiple overtime games. I think.
Yeah, I think this. Well, I think for one thing, I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think it's going to be a lot of 2-1, 3-2 games.
Yeah, right.
A lot of be tight checking and it's going to be
not 9-6.
No. So Ted, I have the Canes in 6, which of course means your NBA champion this year will be the New York Knicks, and your NHL Stanley Cup winner will be the Las Vegas Knights.
Yeah,
put it down in writing.
Yeah.
Not only do we pick the same teams, we basically have the exact same expectation of how the series are going to go. So, that means
there's two sweeps.
2 sweeps. There you go. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up there for the episode. Thank you again to our fans for listening. Again, please check us out on all of our social media sites. Also, check us out here on millions.co for these live streaming events. On social media, we have a YouTube channel. We're also on X, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also email us at grumpybrothersports@gmail.com. And with that, we'll say goodnight, and we promise to do better next time.